Alright, I make my grand return. Let's play some video games with some plants. How about? Is what we'll do. These are a few of my plants. All different kinds here. If I find some nice places for them. Since, yeah, it's late at night. Not like they're getting any other light here anyway. So they probably won't mind playing some video games together here for a little bit. But yeah, that's true. You do that with your plants in China. You talk to them a bit, and several of them growing pretty well. Yeah, show them affection, be doing things with them, and then they'll be all happy and stuff. So, this is what my apple sprouts. This is, I 3D printed it, a special red pot, a red metallic filament here, because the flesh of the apple was red on the inside of the apple that this came from. So, of course, this would be like a hybrid with something else. So, I don't know what the taste is going to be like when this eventually has apples. I really hope that it'll have red flesh rather than the standard yellow apple flesh, and there's probably a good chance that it will. So, fingers crossed for that. So that'll be an interesting little experiment there. I don't even know what species that red apple is. The person that gave it to me, my Oma's neighbor, she didn't know. She said it just came from a friend's yard, and it was a really cool apple. So I started that. This is my biggest haskap plant right now, which is a type of berry bush that's really hardy. Like, the thing's hardy down to, like, minus 47, something like that. I think I read online. Like, it's insane. It's perfectly suited for this climate. They're kind of like blueberries. They're a little bit of a mix of sweet and tart. I think they're really delicious, and I can't wait to be planting a whole bunch of these in the garden. That will be quite nice. Apparently, if you take good care of them, they can live for like 30 plus years. So I plan on taking good care of them. And this is my biggest lime tree right now. So it is 1 year, 1 month old. It's a pretty decent size for that amount of time, I would say. It's starting to grow a whole bunch of new branches in all sorts of places because it's been loving all the nutrients that I've been giving it. Some of the leaves developed looking kind of not so great because I don't think it was getting all the nutrients that it needed. Like you can see going up this branch here that some of them are, you know, a little bit curled, looking a little bit yellowy and looking not all that great. But then look at the top here. It's exploding with new leaves that are this deep, rich green. It's absolutely loving the fact that I've been feeding it like a shit ton of plant food and stuff like that. But yeah, I started to see some evidence of it not doing all that well with, you know, spots like that on the leaves, where according to interwebs, it's like, yeah, it's probably not getting all the nutrients that it wants, and these are just spots that are probably always going to be on these leaves from now on. But it's developing a whole bunch of new stuff now, so there's this whole explosion of like 4 different branches up here, all with leaves. There's a new branch that's developing there. There's a new branch that's developing here. There's a new branch that's developing, I think there's one down there, and then there's this one here that I missed too. So that's what, like 5 or something new branches. So it's getting a bit bushier as well, which is good because it was just kind of going height-wise before. So it's good for it to be getting a little bit bushier than it was before. And then my other lime tree is probably about like yay big, but it's a lot bushier. So yeah, I just found it exploding like this when I got back from the new year. So I was really surprised about that. I was like, holy crap. So it appears to be a very happy plant now. I am going to kill you now, I guess. I'm going to start his channels up means to sell his plants. Yeah, that's exactly what's going on here. I don't have any plants for sale. Whoa. Well, I didn't need to heal that. What am I doing? I don't know what the heck I'm doing there. Okay, parry that. But yeah, I never thought that I'd be all that particularly into plants and plant kind of stuff. The thing that got me into it was these lime trees. Was the case. Because I just kind of started those lime seeds on a whim. Just thinking like, hey, that'd be kind of cool. Let's try it as a little experiment and just see what happens for fun. And I did it, and I watched these lime trees slowly grow and, you know, be fostered. I see there's a whole bunch of absolutely nothings being redeemed. That is a whole lot of absolutely nothing. It does have to be said. And over the past year, just watching these things very slowly grow and be fostered by my efforts here, it was really satisfying. And I think that's really cool to think like, hey, maybe one day I'll be able to pick my own limes off of this here tree. That'd be really cool. One day, be able to enjoy the literal fruits of my labor. Stuff. So, that kind of inspired me to get into more gardening stuff. I mean, I was already doing potatoes for, like, the past couple of years. But, there we go. I've taken out 10 mercenaries now, apparently, is what my camera blocks. And he's parched. He has a bit more issues than that now. Nicanor the Parch was known for drinking entire towns dry of their wine. Most of the time, he was a harmless drunkard. Most of the time. There we go. I got a sledgehammer, too. I found out about this guy here. Whoa. But yeah, and there was also just something cool about growing something that isn't really going to grow here. Like, because this is a zone 3 area. This gets down to like really cold around here. This can never be planted outside. So you tell people around here that you're growing a lime tree and they're just like, huh? You're what? Like, it's not the kind of thing that you would expect here, and it's a cool, unique thing. Because the seeds came from Italy, I can say that it's a cool Italian lime there. And that kind of inspired me to not just get into gardening stuff, but try looking into cool, unique things that not everybody's familiar with, slash would think could grow in places that I'm growing it, for example. So that's when last year I decided that I was going to start looking into some other cool, unique things that could grow here. And maybe some things that I could plant outside as well. Not just things that can never be planted in the ground like this lime tree because it's too cold here. And that's why I found out about haskaps, which are, you know, this berry bush here. And I found out that they were insanely cold hardy. I found out that they're a little bit more of a niche plant that is starting to grow in popularity, but is still a lesser known thing. There's probably less people that know about these berries than do. And they work well here. They are niche enough that you can't really go to the store and find them. You have to actually go to a farm and find plants there. So I went to a farm, harvested like a bucket full of berries, tried them, and they were delicious. I made a cake out of them. I was like, yeah, I think I would like to try growing these plants. This seems pretty awesome. And now I have like 25 of these sprouts that I've been growing from seed. They're another thing that doesn't breed true to type, so they're all hybrids. But the things that these are all hybrids of are both delicious, so I assume the results will be delicious too. And I assume that they'll probably be able to cross-pollinate with each other because they're all slightly genetically different, but if not, then I'll just get a slightly different thing and pollinate them with that. The ones that I have, considering when I harvested them in the season, should be a hybrid mix between a Boreal Beast Haskap and a Boreal Beauty Haskap, is what all my from seed sprouts should be hybrids of. And if they don't seem like they can cross-pollinate with each other, then I'll just buy like a purebred Boreal Blizzard Haskap is what I'll do, which should be able to cross-pollinate with that hybrid relatively well. Should flower around the same time-ish. So, we'll see, but I assume that they should just be able to cross-pollinate each other, and yeah. And whenever I looked into any Haskap growing stuff online, apparently one of the main groups doing this is the University of Saskatchewan, is breeding all sorts of different Haskaps and getting new varieties and stuff like that. On sites like that and other big growing sites, whenever I would look up anything related to growing them from seed, it would always say, just don't do it. It'll never breed true to type, so you'll never get the exact thing that you want. But it's like, so what? The thing that's hybrids of are both delicious. Why wouldn't the resultant hybrid be delicious as well? And, you know, my friggin', if I go to only camera, my hybrid here is doing pretty well, I would say. Also, yeah, these are both 3D printed pots, which I think is kind of neat. I've been 3D printing a lot of pots for myself. So, yeah, there's that. Grow raspberries outside, but that's about it. Not skilled enough to grow much else in Edmonton. Yeah, that's, raspberries are a pretty easy thing to grow. They take a little bit of management because you have to pull out some of the old growth sometimes. Like, that's what I do at my Oma's yard from time to time. I'm a mercenary. Like, every season or two, have to cut out some of the old growth so that new stuff can come in. Raspberries sucker like crazy. There's like a dedicated raspberry area in her yard. And several meters away is where the vegetable garden is, with like concrete sidewalks separating them. Raspberries have popped up in that little garden several meters away. Their suckering ability is insane. I'm totally the one.
How could I not accept? There's a boar not too far from here.
I guess you could say that, oh yeah, that boar. I'll do that some later time. I guess you could say that raspberries are something that I'm trying to grow as well. I took some of those suckers from that garden and planted them out at the lake cabin this last season.
With your reward.
Right alongside the gooseberries. And gooseberries are another type of thorny berry bush, so that's the thorny plant area. And hopefully they took well enough and they'll come back next year. Though it is worth mentioning that if they do, they might just try to take over everything because that's kind of what raspberries do. And one day I would like to get some blackberries here too. Just for like variety, because blackberries are really tasty as well. But yeah, I need to visit the North Midwest, Canada. Yeah, come on down to Canada one day. I'm in Saskatchewan, grew a ton of carrots, peas, and potatoes. The stew made from homegrown plants was incredible. Yeah, I believe that. I would love to start growing more different types of plants. We usually grow a whole bunch of carrots here and a whole bunch of herbs and stuff too. I always do like a potato patch. I was mentioning earlier in the stream how I was gonna start some tomato plants this season, where you graft tomatoes onto potato plants, and then you have one plant that produces both. Do you mind? Could you maybe not? That's something that I'm gonna try. BRB, switch to your phone already. Aha! Just kidding. Hi, friends. Susie. So I'm gonna try that. But yeah, the big crop-like things that are just seasonal things that I typically do are just tomatoes and potatoes. In terms of stuff that I'm doing on my own. Stuff like carrots and herbs and stuff like that is oftentimes things that my mom is doing. But in terms of stuff that I'm doing on my own, it's usually tomatoes, potatoes. I don't know why I forgot the button for not send you here for a hot second. I forgot what button I had to press. But yeah, nowadays the things I'm growing a bit more are the things I know are gonna take quite a while to give me fruit. But once they get established, I know will last for a great many years. Yeah, I absolutely agree. I wonder if I have a convenient picture on my phone here of the tomato plant from this last season. Hold on, because it was the most insane tomato plant I have ever seen in my life, I must say. Let's see here. If I go to all albums, do I have it in a favorites thingamabob? There it is. Yeah, buy tomatoes from Mennonite sometimes. They're so good, I believe it. I don't think I've ever tried that. My Oma, she usually starts tomatoes from seeds, and then we'll just keep using seeds from like the same plants over and over again year after year. But she's been starting to take things really slow in recent years, what with a hip that has really needed a replacement, which she should hopefully be getting a surgery soon. But point is, she wasn't out like able to do stuff in the garden this past year. So my mom just decided that, what the heck? My mom just decided that she would buy her mom a tomato plant just from Superstore. Just a typical like store-bought thing. There was some like on clearance there towards the end of spring, and just decide to buy one and then plant it in the garden, and then hey, there's a tomato plant. But it's not going to be anything all that crazy because it's just like a generic store-bought thing. That tomato plant was the most prolific tomato plant I've ever seen in my life. It produced well over 1,000 tomatoes, I have no doubt. Let's see here. If I go to display capture 2. This is one plant. Where does it actually start and come out of the ground? Who knows? Good luck finding it. It took me a while to find it. It was tucked away in there somewhere. So it went all the way up the wall here. It's all this around here. It became a whole scraggly bush all over the place, all around the ground here. It was still flowering as frost was coming in, somehow. And it actually wasn't too bad. Just give it a decent bit of water from time to time, and it didn't seem to really mind all that much. So, because this thing was still flowering as frost was coming in, I decided that I was going to start some seeds from it early. I started them like late November. I have 6 seedlings from this plant that are on my windowsill at work right now, along with my like 20-some haskaps that are there. My workplace has become my greenhouse, essentially. And I figure if they are already flowering and producing tomatoes by the time they go in the ground, maybe I can have tomatoes nonstop throughout the entire season. And I think that would be absolutely amazing. So that's the goal with that. And I might graft some shoots from that onto some potato plants and see what happens. This is what I might end up doing. We shall see here. There was another tomato plant over on the left side here that was bigger tomatoes, so it could have cross-pollinated with that. I could get some weird hybrid type. Will the seeds be as prolific as this? I don't know. We'll see. I'll probably start some more seeds at a more standard time, like January, February, or something like that. But yeah, we'll see. That's the craziest tomato plant that I've ever seen in my life, and that came from Superstore, of all places. Just as typical generic cheapo store-bought thing, and that's how it turned out. Let's see if I can find the picture of the box of all the tomatoes that I harvested as the frost was coming in, because here it is. So as the frost was coming in, I harvested all the potatoes, all the tomatoes, because they can still ripen after they've been harvested potentially. So I harvested all the tomatoes and put them in a box so that the rest of them could ripen inside. This is what the box looked like as the frost was coming in. All these big ones are from that other plant. Like, so it's just the cherry tomatoes that are from that one. But this is a big box, and it was like yay deep. It was at least a couple hundred from that final harvest where I was cutting them all off and getting ready to call it for the plant for the season. It was one plant. Absolute insanity. So if I do manage to get an insanely prolific tomato plant from that again this year. If I do, I'd only need the one plant. Like, I'm gonna try a few different tomato plants, but realistically, in terms of tomato output, that's more than enough that one plant produces. So, yeah, we'll see here. I guess so, maybe. That wasn't even at my place, that was at my Oma's. I was seeing that maybe once or twice a week just by visiting, checking in on her, and watering the plants and stuff like that. The thing, holy crap. But yeah, so there's like I said, there's 6 of them on my windows still at work right now. Just tiny little things. I only just started out. And we'll see. They might not get as much sunlight as they'd be able to get under like a grow light or a sunroom or something like that. They have a I believe it's an east-facing window, so they get a little bit of light sort of indirectly from the south at an angle at times. But no.
What was that?
Oh, I have to kill all of them anyway. Sort of. Kill cultist guard.
Nothing there.
Okay, well, wow. But yeah, whoa. And I am definitely curious, if I graft one of those onto a potato plant, what's going to happen? So this next season is going to be a decent bit of experiments for science. Is what's going to be. But yeah, I'd appreciate that there, and that's more than understandable there, considering the time. Yeah, 2:40 a.m. I should probably get some sleep pretty soon, too, but it's a fun video game. Falcon kick. Oh man, I'm going to die here. But okie doke, take care, Emerald Finder. Have a good rest of the night there. Whoa. Should probably do that. Wait a second, and I can do stuff like this. Oh. Whoops, that's not the parry button. That's the parry button. Okay, that sucks, doesn't it? I don't think I can do this against these guys. They're a little bit tougher. Okay. This is fine. I am starting to, bit by bit, get the hang of this game. Still mistime things a decent bit here sometimes. Alright, that's the one down. Okay, well, I landed the one there at least. Dang. Whoops, that's... I'm still getting mixed up on my buttons sometimes, though. But that's fine. Thank goodness I can immediately switch back to my main weapons here. Whoa! Dang it. Hopefully it's not too far back. But yeah, also when it comes to grafting and different plant projects and stuff, if I do manage to one day get, like, a pretty significantly sized indoor lime tree that is producing me limes, and that I have to trim down sometimes to keep its size in check, considering it's gonna have to be an indoor plant. But if it gets to a decent size and it's producing fruit, I do think that that might be something fun to try grafting with as well. Is to one day maybe graft onto this very little tree here branches from, like, a lemon tree, branches from maybe a mandarin orange tree, like other citrus, because you can graft citrus together since they're related enough. But I don't know if that's ever gonna happen, because I don't know where the hell I'm gonna get citrus tree branches in the middle of Alberta, Canada. I don't think that's a feasible thing that can happen. I think that would be awesome to have, like, a multi-citrus tree. I rode the impotent. But I don't know if that, that goal is exactly all that realistic. I mean, having a lime tree here in Alberta is already a kind of unrealistic thing, and I already did that step, but yeah, I don't know how I'd get the others. Would I just try from, like, store-bought seeds? Or just store-bought fruit seeds? Something like that. And, hope for the best. I don't really know if I trust seeds from a store-bought fruit all that much, though. As compared to something a little bit more organic. Like the trees that these came from, which was just a literal public park tree that I picked the fruit off of myself. This lime came from. The house caps here. The seeds that came from, I picked the fruit off the plant myself. The apples here, I did not. I've never even seen the tree that this came from. My Oma's neighbor just knew that I like to grow cool, unique stuff. So can I do the... No, I don't know if I can do that launch assassination. Did I ever redeem that? Yeah, I did. I don't know how I exactly do it, though. But yeah, the apples I did not harvest myself. But my Oma's neighbor knew I liked growing cool, unique things. So she was like, hey, here's 3 apples from my tree, and here's 2 apples from a friend's tree. I have no idea what species it is, but they have red flesh. They're really cool. If you want to try and grow it, see if you can grow it. And I was like, okay. I don't know how long it takes for apple trees to be able to produce fruit. I assume a great many years. I know this is still going to take a great many years. It's over a year old, and I think it's a pretty good size for a year old. But, you know, it's only slightly developing bark at, like, some of the lower levels here, and it's been very slowly developing bark for months now. So, I don't think it's gonna get all that woody anytime soon. The house cap's pretty woody. It grows a lot faster since it's, like, a bush rather than a tree. But, yeah, I am prepared to be in here for the long haul. Some of this stuff. Sure. They're like, what the heck?
I know where you're hiding.
No, you don't. You do not know where I'm hiding. But yeah, I would just love to keep on doing cool, unique plant stuff. Oh, I don't actually want that.
Leave anywhere unchecked.
Okay. Maybe not right now, actually. That might actually be a bad idea. Part of me is a little bit worried about these apple sprouts in terms of what they could be crossed with. Hello, Sir Samrat. How's it going today? We were just having discussions about plant stuff.
There's no one.
They haven't disappeared. Keep looking.
We won't let them get away.
Yeah, I'm surely around here somewhere. I'm playing video games with some of my plants for a little bit tonight,
How did she get
with
away?
lime, haskap, and apple plants. All different kinds of very delicious fruits that I hope I'll be able to pick off of them one day. Hi. Oh, I'm just able to straight up assassinate like that. That's cool. Didn't think I could there. But yeah, with the apples, I was reading up on some of the cross-pollination of it. The one type of apple sprout that I have 4 of came from a prairie sensation apple. And I don't know what type of tree these red-fleshed ones came from, but my leading suspicion is Red Wonder, because that seems to be a type of apple tree that I could find online that has red flesh, look to be around the same size and look, and can actually grow here. It's actually hardy enough for it. Alright, sweet, that works. Now we're fighting you, though. I was not hoping to be fighting you right now. Oh, that guy's fighting him, too! Oh, heck yeah! Oh, that works. If that guy could kill him for me, that'd be really funny. Mercenary defeated! Now my mercenary rank goes up. Anyway, when I looked it up, apparently Prairie Sensation cannot self-pollinate, and the plant that I suspect that one to be of Red Wonder cannot self-pollinate either, and most hybrids can't, in general, which means it has to be cross-pollinated with something else. I have some kind of hybrid apples here. So, I'm probably just gonna keep on raising the 7 until they get to, like, small sizes that are, like, the size that you could expect to buy them at the store, where they would start producing, like, maybe 1 or 2 apples, stuff like that. And then I can properly, taste test them and decide what seems the coolest, which one I'd like to keep, and maybe plant one into the ground from there. And with the others, I don't know, maybe give them away. Something like that. Maybe grab some branches if there's something I want to keep. I don't know. I'll figure it out. One of the cheapest fertilizers you can buy is MSG seasoning powder. Just dilute it in water and apply it on your plant. I've been adding some diluted water fertilizers to some of my plants here. Short sword. Stuff. Cool. Off to bed. Okie doke. Take care, Jake Frost. Hope you have an awesome rest of the night. Appreciate you stopping by and hanging out. And all that. But yeah, like, I've been doing that for my lime trees especially, who have been absolutely loving the plant food that I've been giving it. Considering the top here is just an explosion of new leaves, to the point that it genuinely really surprises me. So, I've been feeding my limes a whole bunch of plant food, and they've been really loving it. But yeah, plant moms rose and they're blooming crazy. Oh yeah. I don't have the same fertilizer, I just use some generic mixing in thing. Apparently, the yellowness that I was getting on some of my lime tree leaves, one internet source said that the specific nutrient that was probably most efficient would have been nitrogen in that case, so I tried to get a general plant mix of all sorts of nutrients, but mainly has a lot of nitrogen. They've been loving the stuff. Whoops. Seems to be working super well for my limes. Whoa. Whoa, I know that that arc is wide. Whoops. No. Rat, man, that is not how I wanted that to go exactly. How do I disable the X here without... Because if I press X, I just immediately launch another arrow. How do I cancel out? Do I have to put the bow away fully? If so, that's kind of silly. Yeah, so I do that. I sometimes also mix in just pure magnesium into water. General fertilizer, which is another thing that my Oma's neighbor gave to me. Gave to me a bag full of this stuff and said, you use it on your plants. It works great. I was like, okay. I've been using it on my plants. It's been working great. They've been quite enjoying that.